We're live. So it says.
Okay, let me.
Wait for the company has a little bit of buffer.
There we go. Okay. Nobody's joined us yet, but we are once again live.
Just give them a minute to catch up with us.
Mm-hmm. All right. I changed my hand position to make sure I was monitoring the right feed. And I am. Okay, Joyce says can't hear. So we've got Joyce back.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody else will turn up.
All right, all right.
Hi all. We're back. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, and thank you for your donations. We will now have a prayer over the offering. Mother and Father God, in all of your facets, and appropriate for today's celebration of Halloween, the masks through which you present yourself. Thank you for working with us and through us. And thank you for filling these donations with your divine light so they may serve the highest good possible. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
That brings us to the message portion of the service. The message workers that stand before you this evening actively develop their gifts so they may be clear channels for this work. Please actively listen to each message. As these come from universal source via our guides, they may be tailored for the individual, but they deliver wisdom to the whole. Please address questions about messages to the message bearer after the service. To welcome each of our spirit workers, we sing together to raise the vibrations in our circle. We view the word God as a universal term for deity, rather than signifying any one particular path. Our message bearer tonight will be Karen. Let's welcome her with the song
In the Garden.
In the Garden.
1 verses 1.
Verses 1 and 2. Fall the bouncing ball. I come to the garden alone, where the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And she walks with me, and she talks with me, and she tells me I am her own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Good evening. My name is Karen, and tonight I will be working with my guides, Old Mother Otter, Maya, and the architect. All right. Tammy. Tammy, my guides are showing me ribbon wrapping paper and you're putting the final big bow on it. And you stop and you start to untie it. My guides are going, nope, you're done with it. Put a bow on it. So maybe you've got a project or something that it's done, but you're not sure. You maybe want to do that last little fiddly bit. It's done. Put a bow on it. It's done. Joyce. Okay, that's an interesting one. The first image they showed me was of a candle kind of hanging in space, literally lit at both ends, burning the candle at both ends. And they're like, no, 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 and showing like they're putting a big circle with the line through it. And then they brought a sword blade and cut it in two, and it had two candles. And they poofed one out, and they're like, no, sometimes you have to choose. It may be a difficult decision, but for your own well-being, you have to pick one because you can't burn the candle at both ends. They're being literal with this one. All right, Susan. Oh. So they're showing you standing at like a stove, and you're stirring like a big stew pot, and adding a little bit of this spice, and you're tasting it, and then you put the lid on it, turn the fire down like it's a pressure cooker, and you walk away because you know that that's got to sit and do its thing for a while. And again, this seems to be a task-oriented message tonight. Sometimes, you know, the old saying, a watch pot never boils. Sometimes you just do. You have to walk away and do something else and just let an idea or something just kind of stew and let everything mingle, because if you keep trying to taste it while you've just added the ingredients, you don't necessarily know what it's going to taste like after they've stewed and mingled together. So just walk away and let it simmer. Tom. Okay, so they're showing me half a rainbow. So it goes up and it stops. Okay. And, you know, there's all those, you know, old tales about, you know, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and, you know, especially when you're little kids, you know, you want to chase the rainbow and find out if it's at the other end. And their advice is no. Even half a rainbow is a beautiful miracle. Just appreciate the beauty. You don't have to go chasing for what's at the other end. You don't have to worry about the prize. The prize is the beauty of the rainbow. Lois.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm just going to start with the image, and we'll see if what comes with it. There's an old tall tale about a cowboy that lassos a tornado and then rides it. Oh, okay. So basically what I was first shown was this, you know, tornado just careening across the landscape, you know, doing what tornadoes do, destroying things. but then you're lassoing it and bringing it down and basically saying, no chaos. You're telling it, I'm done with chaos, no chaos. That's the message. You have that power to stop it. Stefan. Okay, they're showing me the picture of a tent, and it's a very, very basic tent. It's a line strung between two trees and just a tarp draped over them. And you're landing, your feet are sticking out one end and your head sticking out the other end. But my guides are saying, it's a nice night. This will keep any dew or stuff, anything off you. If you need to, you can always curl up and you'll be under the cover of the tent. But meanwhile, you can look at the stars. So sometimes if something doesn't seem quite up to the task, you have the ability to make it work. Okay, so they're showing you with this very sleek, very Egyptian-looking cat. And you're petting the cat. And then all of a sudden it looks up at you and goes, okay, I've gotten my reward. What do you want? And my guides are suggesting that maybe you should be having some discussions with Bast about some things that you may be looking for. That there's some vast energy there to help you get your wish fulfilled. And they're really kind of emphasizing it as wishes, not tasks. So, yeah. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Emily. Okay. So this image was of, well, it started off as just your classic pyramid. But then, normally when we look at the pyramids, we don't, you don't necessarily see the energy that can be associated with them. But they're wanting me to emphasize that there's essentially another pyramid of power that can be broadcast out of the top of this pyramid that is a reflection of the power in the pyramid itself. And that reflects the saying, as above, so below, but that can also be reversed to as below is above. So they're reminding me that if what you do here does reflect up above, but also you can bring that energy back down when you need it. So that, that reflection goes both ways. So if you've got something you need some energy for, focus on that pyramid energy. It's really good for growth and preservation. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you for allowing me to stand between the worlds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, that brings us to the meditation tonight, which is presented via technology by Melina.
All right, let's see if this works.
Welcome to the meditation of the Elder Moon, also the time of Samhain. Allow your eyes to close and your body to rest comfortably where it is at. Take a deep breath in, breathing in the air of autumn, and breathing out the cares and concerns of the day. Allow yourself to set those thoughts aside. Allow yourself to be fully present. And with another deep breath in, breathe in that relaxation. And with a deep breath out, allow yourself to settle and your thoughts to turn inward. As we have mentioned, it is the time of the elder moon. It is the time when we are reminded of the ancestors and their knowledge. Combined with that, it is the time of Samhain, when the veils between the world grow thin, and we hear the voices of those who have gone before. When we think of the elder moon, much like our own elders, we are invited to reach back through time and to access that knowledge which they can share with us. With these thoughts in mind, we make our way up the familiar hill and path to the rustic gate which stands on its own. We also came prepared, and we leave something outside of the gate. We reach within our pocket and we pull something out, leaving it as our connection to this plane, knowing that we will be able to come back and pick it up again. As we do, the door to the rusty gate creaks open on its own, and we step across the familiar threshold from one place to another. As our foot glides over that threshold, we immediately notice the electricity in the air, the magic all around us. The air especially feels electric this time, as we know that we are on the threshold of Samhain. We're invited mentally to think of those ancestors that have gone before. As we do, we begin to make our way up the familiar path to the hill with the great tree. With each step, we're invited to remember an ancestor's name, or if we wish to make contact with just one, to repeat that name over and over with each step. Stepping onto that first paved stone, repeating the name we wish to remember. Stepping on the next, again repeating a name of someone we choose to remember. And with each step, up and up the hill, we call to those ancestors which we choose to make contact with, or simply those that we just want to remember and know that they are loved. Step after step after step, reminding ourselves that these memories do not weigh heavy on us, but make our hearts lighter. For we know that no one is ever truly gone. Remember those we wish to keep close, those that make us happy, with each step remembering another ancestor along the way. As we get to the top of the hill, which seems to change a little bit every time we're here, we see the great tree before us, made of several trees, all bound together. Different leaves, different flowers on each branch, and it almost seems that each one is in different seasons. We see the bare branches of winter, the autumn colors of fall, the bright greens of summer, and the buds of spring. The tree this time holds a special magic aura around it, almost like a halo above the top of its branches. We know we are truly at a special place and a special time. An altar has already been set up before us, And as we make our way to it, we see things on it that remind us of those ancestors who have passed. Perhaps a pocket watch, or a picture, or a set of keys, and it could really be anything. Flowers that they may have liked, perhaps little knickknacks of their favorite animals, turtles and doves, hares, rabbits, even the odd totem here and there of the alligator and the crane. Whatever is placed on this altar before us, it reminds us of those who have gone before. And then there is even a special bowl for us to take some flowers that have been laid out on the altar for us. And as we drop the flowers into the bowl, we notice that they float on the water. And those are for the ancestors that we have never met, further and further back through time, back through generations, perhaps even back through eras, to back as far as when the first person walked the earth. Just because we have not met these people or made contact with them in some way does not mean that connection doesn't exist. We are remembered, and we will be remembered by those who come after us, just as we remember those who have gone before. We're reminded to look on the ground near the altar to see even more flowers that those ancestors may have liked. We may even see dog and cat toys or something that represents an animal that we may have seen on a farm. All of those beings, whether human or animal, that have gone on before. And when we look at all these things, it does not make us sad, but it makes us smile, remembering that they are always with us, that we are never alone. And should we have need, all we need to do is speak their name, and they will be with us. We are reminded to turn around and to look at the land that lies before us. Down the sloping hill to the valley below, we see the sun begin to set a bit lower on the horizon. It is starting to become dusk, and we feel, rather than see, that light has sprung up behind us. As we do, we see candles at this altar space, and we also see another table with several chairs around it. And on that table are candles glowing bright and flowers representing the seasons. There's a small bonfire just to the other side of the top of our hill that has been lit for us. And it begins to crack and smolder slightly, and as the flames begin to grow bright. We're invited to come and sit at this table as we're able to look out over the lands, the hill, and the valley below. One by one, some of our ancestors that we wish to see come and sit at our table. Almost as if without effort, the bonfire begins to grow brighter and larger. And as the firelight flickers upon their faces, smiling at us with love in their eyes, we smile back at them. We take a moment to listen for a message that they may have for us. Very quietly, we sit in silence and we see what message they bring. And we take a quiet moment to do that now. Some of the messages that may creep into your mind are ones you expected, like I love you. Others, maybe not so much, as your ancestor tells you how proud they are of you, how far you've come. And sometimes those words, like I am so proud of you, are not the words we expect to hear, because maybe they were not the phrases that these ancestors could say when they were on the physical plane. However, without restriction and with a light heart, they are able to speak freely. The I love yous, the I am so proud of you and what you've done, the words we long to hear. We can finally hear them now. We feel ourselves holding hands with them, perhaps we had not even noticed. Their hands familiar in ours, remembering what they felt like, making this connection of the heart. They say, we are always with you. And we begin to notice that they simply begin to fade from our sight. Rather than be sad, we know that we can establish this connection at any time. We look at the bonfire, which has grown quite large beneath the tree. And as we look down the hill and across the valley, bonfire after bonfire after bonfire has become lit, carrying the torch of the light in the darkness as the sun has set. Knowing at each bonfire we have made our connection with those loved ones in spirit. They remind us to keep that light in the darkness. So with each candle you light, especially today on Samhain, light that candle and connect with that bonfire and know that you are with those in spirit and they are with you. Feeling it is time to leave, we begin to stand up from our table. We energetically say goodbye to those ancestors we have made contact with. And as we walk by the altar, we allow our fingers to stroke the stone as we walk by, lingering on a flower and taking it with us. We make our way down the steps and down the hill, back to the gate. With each step down, we mutter a thank you, a gratitude for this experience. At the bottom of the hill and the bottom of the path, we take one last look over our shoulder, seeing the bonfire continue to burn on our behalf, still able to see some of the bonfires down the hill and in the valley. And we step through the gate, allowing the gate to close behind us. And as we bend down to pick up that talisman we have left here, we leave the flowers in its place. We begin to feel the call of our bodies and the room, and we have thoughts and ideas on the candle we will light tonight when we get home. The connection we will make with spirit, symbolizing that bonfire that we still have connection to. And as again we feel the pull of our bodies wherever we are, we begin to feel the need to move in our chair. And with a full and thankful heart, we say thank you, we say thank you, we say thank you. And when we are ready, we open our eyes, awake and refreshed, and we say, so mote it be.
Okay, closing prayer. Divine oneness of being, ascended masters, overlighting angels, beings of light, thank you again for working with us and working through us. As we enter what is physically the dark time of the year, we still our minds to receive your light, so would it be. Thank you all for being in our circle of light. Let's stand in unity and sing, let there be peace on earth.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternal.